Everyone, and welcome back to Max Easy Lessons. Now, some people have been asking for an example of how to write the comparative essays for the English B, and that would be especially for the poetry and the short story section. Now, if you are new to my channel, thank you for coming here. I hope you could hit the subscribe button, keep the bell notification on, and if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. Now, here is something. There will be a link in the description box below. I do have another channel which has a playlist that includes quite a number of, there are actually 22 videos for the English B and the English A exams. Now, if you're interested, please click on that link below in the description box and it will take you straight over to the playlist. And yes, you can go ahead and see what is there that may be of interest to you and that may help you at this time. Thank you all for coming in, and I do hope you stay to the end of this video. It may be a little bit lengthy, but please keep it here. Now, the first thing you need to understand when writing the essay, the first thing you need to understand is that you must organize your essay. You must use quotes in these essays, and of course, you must use transitional words. These are key to helping you to write a very good essay for the English B paper, the comparative paper especially, and even for the rest of it too. So when we're talking about organizing your paragraphs, you have to have a topic or a lead sentence to show you what it is about. You have to include suitable quotations that will help you to make your ideas or your points much clearer. You are also required to have link words, and these link words are what we also call transitional words or phrases. Now, let's get straight into it. How to work it, how to organize it. The introductory paragraph must relate to the question. It's basically where you paraphrase your question, yes, put it in your own words to make a statement as to what you're about to say. You need to include the main words or terms that appear in the various sections of the questions. Remember, people, you have to include the main words. And then you give the examiner, your marker, an idea of how you are going to tackle your answer. The body of your essay must have well-organized paragraphs. Each of them must begin with a topic sentence, and each paragraph must deal with each element of the question, each section of the question. And also, you must present your line of reasoning. What is it that you're saying that will help to justify the main points? Now, what you also need to know is that even though the question may appear in parts, you cannot break when you are writing the essay. You have to continue with each paragraph. Do not skip a line. Do not put part B. Do not put part A. Do not put part C. Just roll with the flow, right? Roll with the flow. Now, each time you are going to take on a different part of the question, your main sentence there would be a paraphrase actually of your question. And so your marker will know right away, the examiner will know right away that you are answering another section of the question. I hope you understood that's what I'm saying here. Now, the concluding paragraph must provide a summary of the main points that you have made in the body of your essay. And of course, you must make some form of reference to the actual question that is being answered. That's your original question, that is. Now, before we go into the sample question, the use of quotations is important, right? You need to, if it's the exact words of the poem, of the poet, you have to put that in inverted commas, which starts at the beginning of what is being quoted and ends right at the end of the quotation. The quotation must be written just as it appears in the poem. Now, don't stress yourself. If you really don't remember all of the quotations, just go ahead and paraphrase what you want to say, but it would be best if you could quote. You need to avoid long quotations too. So, here is a sample question. Once upon a time, and Dreaming Black Boy are poems that present thoughtful observations about life. Give a brief outline of the observations that the speaker makes in each poem. Comment on the attitude of the observations he or she makes. Discuss two images that are used to draw attention to each speaker's observation. Now, I didn't want to make this too long, so what I did was that I created, with the help of some sources, I created a sample introduction and a sample second paragraph. Now, and yes, there is a sample of your conclusion. Now, you would be required to model your part B and part C of this question based on what you saw for paragraph 2. So let's get right into the introduction. Please stay with me. I know it may be a little bit long and you're wondering where are we going. Stick around until the end of it, please. This is very helpful. Note that you have to show the similarities and differences between the poems. You can use the point by point method. Sorry. Now that is perhaps the easiest one. That is the one I tend to favor, the point by point. Now in this type of essay, you discuss each main idea, such as in this particular question, the observations, the images, and the attitudes. Each paragraph then would have one of these, one of the three main ideas for the questions. So here goes the sample introductory paragraph. O'Kara's Once Upon a Time and Berry's Dreaming Black Boy present thoughtful observations about the lives of the persona. In each poem, the persona or speakers make the observations about these events. It is clear that they have specific thoughts, ideas, and feelings about these observations, and as such, they have chosen to share them with either a son, as in the case of Once Upon a Time, or an unknown person, as in the case with Dreaming Black Boy. It is interesting to note that each poet uses at least two images to draw attention to the speaker's observations. All right, so that's a sample of your introduction. Of course, you can add something else, but the key to the introduction here, though, is that you have to identify the poems in the paragraph, in the question, in this paragraph here of the question in this paragraph. What am I saying? You have to identify the name of the poets in that first paragraph. This is what I'm saying, right? And then you have to ensure that the names of the poems are written in quotation marks and that you talk about the three parts that is included in your question. Remember, you have to put all of this here. Of course, yours could be a little bit longer than what I have here. It doesn't really matter, yes, but you cannot make it too long either because you are simply introducing your essay. Notice that in writing the introductory paragraph, you must also ensure that you include the main terms, the main words that were used in the questions. Now moving on to the body paragraph. The second paragraph is the body paragraph, and you can use the point by point method here again, where you would ensure that you mention both each poem as you discuss each main point. The first main point in this case is observation, and therefore the first body paragraph should address this. Now notice I said the first body paragraph, which is actually the second paragraph because your introductory paragraph is still your first paragraph. The second paragraph should address part B, and then the remaining paragraphs will address part C of the question. Take a look at the sample that follows, and this could be your second paragraph. Now, if you notice here, there are some phrases or sentences here that are written in red. I didn't want to put this at the end of it because this is a sample and I wanted you to see the direction in which this paragraph is going. So those that are in red are not a part of the sample. They are just there to explain what is said and what is being done after the fact. So let's begin. What's in black, remember, is the sample paragraph. What's in red is your explanation. The speakers in both Once Upon a Time and Dreaming Black Boy give some perceptive observations of the behavior of the people in the society in which they live. Now this would be your topic sentence. In Once Upon a Time, the father notes that people have changed since becoming adults and that unfortunately the changes in these people do not make them better individuals. In fact, Okara points out that these adults have gotten worse, as in the case where he says that when people are younger, they are more genuine in their actions and words. They laugh and shake hands with their hearts. Notice that there is a quotation there, and notice how it falls into the sentence there. But the paragraph continues, but as an adult, the persona has become insincere as he simply changes his attitude to fit the situation based on his feelings. So the persona notes that he has his home face, office face, street face, host face, and cocktail face. Again here, students, or anybody who is watching, again here, note the use of the quotation. It falls right into place there. Likewise, and this is continuing with the paragraph. Note the use of the linking word or the transitional word that is now being introduced to compare the second poem. Likewise, the persona in Dreaming Black Boy points to a number of dangerous habits that the people have adopted in his society. He notes that the people are prejudiced towards others based on the individual's race and ethnic background. As such, the persona highlights that the teacher ignores him in classes and also refuses to hug him even when he scores a goal in sports. In addition, the persona in this poem implies that the inequality prevents him from receiving the same education as the white children in his class. Therefore, this instance of racial prejudice also reveals that he has little alternative but to engage in menial tasks when he becomes an adult. He also implies that both his life and that of others like him are at risk because of the plotters in pajamas. Now, here is a clarification for you, everyone. The writer has made a judgment on the observation of each speaker within the last 3 sentences here. And the sample continues. Perhaps it is fair to say that the speaker in Dreaming Black Boy makes more damaging observations of the people than the speaker in Once Upon a Time. After all, the persona in Dreaming Black Boy alludes to the fact that he could lose his life based on the way people behave. In contrast, Once Upon a Time merely recognizes that people are hypocritical. So, section A has been done for you. I hope it made sense. Try to model your section B from this. Note that although the question is divided into 3 parts, once more people note, you must use the essay format with no breaks to indicate a separation of the paragraphs. This means then that in order to answer section B, you do not skip a line. Instead, you write a topic sentence that will rephrase the question at part B and do the same for part C. Now let's get straight into the conclusion for the essay. In concluding, just as each of us in our society observe the behaviors of people in the environment, the father in Once Upon a Time and the boy in Dreaming Black Boy observe the environment and the people in the environment. For example, the father observes adults and the way they say one thing and mean another thing. In Dreaming Black Boy, the boy observes that people are likely to judge others unfairly based on their racial and ethnic backgrounds and not try to figure out the truth about the person. In addition, the speakers in both poems are perceptive, and they have each formed separate opinions based on these observations. Finally, each poet chooses to use different allusions and symbols to create an even more vivid picture of their observations, and this helps the reader to have a clearer understanding of these observations that each speaker makes. By doing this, the reader will become more informed about the world in which we live. Now notice in the conclusion here, there is reference to allusions and symbols, and this was not presented in the samples for the introduction or the paragraph that I did for you. But guess what? You would have seen section 2 of the question that says discuss 2 images that are used to draw attention to each speaker's observations. This is where those 2 would come in, and that is where you would be expected to explain the allusions, the historical allusions that were made in Dreaming Black Boy, and the symbols of the plotters, and just the same, the picture and the portrait smile in Once Upon a Time. So you would have had to incorporate these into section C of the questions in order to make a final conclusion of this nature. Thank you so much for stopping by on the channel. Please share with someone if you know someone needs help with this, and let me know what you think at the end of it. I'm trying to go as fast as I can, everyone, to do the rest, but again, I'll remind you, there is a link in the description box. Feel free to check it out. There are other materials there that can also help you. Well, they will help you because they are a part of the C-Sec syllabus as well. I've placed the link there. There is other content on the channel, but the link that is below takes you directly to that playlist with 22 pieces that can help you on your journey to CXC. Thank you once more for stopping by, and I do hope that this will help you.